All right, let's get a new 30-minute game going. Today is day 88, I believe, the daily upload of a game of chess. We get the caro-kann. How wonderful. I like to play the advanced variation. Light squared bishop comes out. They play, the bot Finnick Carl's defense. This is a common attendee at blitz games, as I understand it. Threatening immediately White's pawn structure. I was hoping to see something more substantial theoretically. We have a couple options here. We could bring out our light squared bishop with check, and then force this trade of bishops immediately. We could also bring our knight out to e2. Yes, I don't mind this. This is sound. It's not like I'm going to win the game in 5 moves, unless our opponent plays something fully crazy. I think probably knight out. Honestly, bishop out wouldn't be too bad here because you want to trade away this piece anyway in the caro. Yeah, so we'll take that. And then get our knight out to e2 as a defender of this pawn. A knight on d4 is a nice defensive piece. Okay, they take, and we'll get our knight over to e2 and get castled. Queen may come over to a5, in which case we have, okay, they take. Let me think here. We take, are they threatening to take our piece? No, they are not, but I guess they are threatening to take our pawn on e5. So maybe queen up is better here. Yeah, because we don't want to allow this. e6 probably coming next, followed by something like bishop to, yeah, bishop to c5 looks decent. I think we can get castled first. Well, let's see. Is there any way we can defend this square? We could play b4. That's interesting. Protected by our queen here, potentially followed by c4. Just like an immediate queenside attack. Yeah, I'm sort of interested in that. Let's see what that looks like. And maybe c4 and then knight to c3. Curving the development of this knight. I can't come out to either of these squares right now. Yeah, I like this. I think I would like to get castled next. Our opponent is offering a queen trade, or perhaps now threatening to take this pawn. So we could play, we got a couple ways we could defend it, I guess. We could play d2, or bishop to d2. We could play c3, but I think that sort of blocks the development of this knight. If our opponent does want to take here, that I'm fine with, because I like to have our knight on d4 anyway. So let's play bishop to d2. I would like to get castled soon. I wouldn't be surprised to see a5 here. They take, we'll take back. Now I guess they can take here. Okay. We'll go ahead and get castled. And then get our knight out, or rook out to e1 with tempo. Interesting. Maybe a3 here. They have two attackers. A3 or C3? I think A3. Yeah. And then maybe we can push... Oh, whoops. I left a piece hanging. It's my mistake. What to do, what to do. Playing a little bit fast and loose. Well, let's go and get our knight out. What we can do with our opponent's king out in the open, we can get our rook out to e1, pinning this pawn to their king, and then we can take on d5. They take a pawn. Okay. So we will, I think, rook up to a2 to keep defense of this pawn, because they're threatening this, and drive away this knight. And where does their knight go, I wonder? It's running out of squares. These lose the knight. This is probably fine. Loses the knight. Okay. So it'll go back to where it came from. Knight goes back. Rook comes to e1. And then we can take this piece. Wonderful. Okay. Playing a little bit fast and loose. I should probably slow down a little bit. We got plenty of time on the clock. We are now threatening knight to c7 check, which I think is a nice idea. So probably rook to c8, knight to b6, maybe something like that. Well, no, I think we can hold off on that, actually. Yeah, we don't have to do anything rash. So now we can drive away their knight with something like, or not that. I guess bishop to e3 breaks this pin, which we don't want to do. I think we should move our knight away first. And this does look pretty appealing. Move our knight away. I mean, this move also comes with check. And we could support it with bishop to f4. That doesn't break the pin. Seems pretty good. So bishop to f4. Check. King moves to one of these squares. Probably closer to the knight would be my guess. And if either one of these, then we can come out with our other rook and pin the knight to the king. Okay. So even though we're down a piece, our opponent has not developed 3 of their pieces. So I think we have the potential to mount a strong attack on their king. And you deliver checkmate quickly, like in a short number of moves. I don't think we should proceed quickly, like time on the clock, because I don't want to lose any pieces, any more pieces. If they play bishop to e7, we have, I guess we have a couple of options. We have, oh no, we can't do bishop to e5 because it breaks this pin. Okay. That's a neat move. They get their knight out to defend this c7 square. I think what we can do is get our rook over to d2 and then push this pawn to drive their knight away. Rook over to d2, threatening these squares as well, and then we have a nice discovered attack here, here or here. Yeah, let's do that. Is there, and if their knight goes back to a3, then we get our really nice attack on our opponent's king. Yeah, let's rook to d2. Certainly in trouble or in danger of back rank checkmate here. I'm going to be cautious of that. I guess too, if we push here, our opponent can take, skewering our rooks, which looks really bad. I'd like to avoid that. How does our opponent proceed? I wonder. If they played something like g6, I think they would be in an ocean of trouble. Oh no, I guess they still have their knight defending the f6 square. If they do want to play like knight to e7, I think knight to b6 looks decent. Knight to b6 looks decent regardless. Oh, that's interesting. Offering a trade of pieces. So takes. We have this check available to us. Takes. No, I don't think that does anything. Can we remove this defender? I don't think so. Takes. Double attack on their rook and their bishop. Yeah, there we go. So takes, knight comes out, hitting both of those pieces. Probably rook comes up. Both defending the bishop and hitting this piece. And then does our knight move anywhere else dangerous? I don't think so. I don't think that quite works, huh? We have this check, a rook sacrifice. I don't think that accomplishes anything. Check. They have 3 ways to take that piece. I don't think I'd be able to calculate sort of our options there. Yeah, I think taking is probably the strongest idea here. Though I am, of course, hesitant to take down pieces as we are. Maybe coming out to g5. I think they have knight out. Oh, that looks like we could do something there. Yeah, g5, if they get their knight out, then takes, and then we're threatening their rook. That looks pretty good. Okay, so let's sort of back out of here. If they want to try to threaten us this way, we have rook takes e6 check, and then we just have to be very careful that we don't blunder back rank mate like I did in a recent game. I think knight out would be a little bit stronger here. Knight out. Takes. Rook moves somewhere. And then what do we do? I'm not sure. Can we get, I mean, knight out to c6 still runs into rook to, or knight out to b6 runs into rook c6. And then we don't have anywhere to go from there. Oh, that's interesting. They get their knight out that way. Also breaking this pin. So now our knight is hanging and attacked. Or I guess not hanging, but attacked. So we could take here. Or we could take with our bishop. We could check here. Couple of options. I wonder, can we just take this piece? Can we just take this pawn? I don't think so. Our opponent's doing a very good job at defending. Check here. They take, we take back. And then we're forking two of their pieces. They can still castle like this. Sort of the defenses in front of their king are shattered. We can take with our bishop. They go back with their bishop. We take, their king moves up. And then I don't think we can do anything from there. We need these pieces to deliver checkmate is the challenge. So we need to move our knight. And I think over to b6 is the only real option. And they, of course, have rook up. Rook to c6 looks dangerous. There's maybe an idea here. This is super complicated. Rook up to c6. Rook takes bishop. Rook takes rook, so we've sacrificed an exchange. Bishop takes on e7. Oh, they don't go for it. That's interesting. Does this give us any other ideas? Doubling up on the d file looks a lot stronger now. We double up on the d file and they move their... Oh, I guess they can come out with check like this. So maybe we bump up g3, snorkel thoughtfully. That also provides an escape square for our king. Because right now, if they come out with check, we take and they are up the exchange, and that's really, really bad for us. So maybe we push g3 to prevent that idea. Another option is just bishop takes, and then they come back like this. And then we take, and they take, and then we don't have anything. I guess we have rook to d1 check, and their king can move to here. And I don't know if I could deliver checkmate with just a rook and a knight with all these other pieces on the board. So I think g3 is an option. I think g3 is probably our strongest option, preventing this bishop from checking our king. Okay. Do we want to take here? Takes. Probably takes with the bishop. It seems less than appealing. I mean, that would reinforce the pin. Takes. So we trade off 2 more pieces, which is kind of gross. But then we can move our knight back to d5 for, I don't know, a benefit that I cannot ascertain. I guess if we move our bishop back, well, it's trapped. If we move our bishop back, then yeah, then it comes to pawn to g5, and then we lose the piece. Tough stuff. I think maybe we drop back to e3, honestly. Get doubled up on the d file. Yeah. Opponent probably gets castled here. Seems like a strong move. And we're going to have a hard time doing a rook lift because this is covered by their knight and this is covered by their pawn. I guess if we came out here, that looks pretty good. Takes, and then we have a nice... Oh, I guess we would need to get doubled up first. So then move up here, takes. Yeah. They take our pawn. Let's go ahead and get doubled up here on the D file. Hold on. If we get doubled up on the D file, they can get castled, and then that trade isn't as effective. Takes. Yeah, and then we've like lost a piece. Okay, so that's not going to work. I guess we can advance our rook. We took here and they take back. This is almost very nice, but they have their knight guarding that square, so that doesn't quite work. A lot of almost tactics. I think we go ahead and get doubled up, and we will, once they get castled, we will figure out how to attack their position. But they do need to get castled now. I think that's important. Or actually, no, they just need to move their knight back. Yeah. Because now we have, I guess they have 2 defenders, and we have 2 attackers. So we could play our bishop out like this. They can play their knight out. Like that. And then we can play knight to c4 to add insurmountable pressure to this piece. Not okay, they get out of the way. It's a clever move. So I think we have takes. And then I don't think we have anything else. I don't think we have any other checks available to us either. We could move our knight to here where it would be very well defended. They have 1, 2. So let's see, knight out, takes. We trade a knight for a rook. And then I think, can we come out with check or anything? I mean, they won't be able to castle. No, I don't think that's going to work. I think we could take here first. No, that's not going to work. Actually, take here first. Rook takes, king takes. Rook comes up with check. Oh, and then the king can escape to f6, so that doesn't quite work out. This knight move looks pretty appealing. We could win an exchange at least. Yeah, let's do that. Sort of self-pinning ourselves, which is unfortunate. But I think it's what we have to do. And their king cannot castle through check, so they cannot castle right now. Take here, king takes, but then I don't think we have any advantages there. We have this check available to us. Only we could go to c9, which is not a square on the board. We would have another check available to us, and that one would be hard to counter. But the board does not extend that far, unfortunately. Other than this, I think running our f-pawn up the board, try to disrupt some of these ideas over here. And I would love to see g6. I don't think it would have. I don't think it was worth sacrificing the. Oh, what's this? Okay, so they move their knight. Oh, we might have some ideas here. So if we take here, they take back with their pawn, and then we have check. They can place their bishop in front of it. They can't move their king because this is covered by our knight, and this would be covered by the rook. Okay. I think we might have checkmate here. Let me double check. Rook's sacrificing the exchange. They take. Rook comes out with check, hitting their king. They can't move to either of the two legal squares. Oh, they can just take our knight. They can just take our knight. Oh yeah, so that doesn't work. I was gonna say this square is also covered by our bishop now. But no such luck. So I wonder if takes, and then we just don't quite have it, do we? And then I guess rook comes up. So let's look at this again. Takes, check. King moves to d7, taking our piece. Rook moves up to e7, hitting their king, protected by our bishop. The king has a handful of squares it can move to, and these are blocked. This is blocked. So the king moves to either c6 or c8. And then I don't think we have anything from there. We have rook takes on c7, but our rook is unguarded. Okay, that was a nice idea. Now our knight is hanging once again. I think maybe... Oh, I guess... I mean, we could move a rook out. Gosh. This just doesn't quite work, does it? Are we going to lose this piece as well? Out like this, maybe? Takes, and then we're hitting their rook. That looks decent. Could move a rook over to here. They'll probably take with their rook. That doesn't quite work. Yeah, I think maybe back here, and then we trade off this piece, and then they have to make a move to get their rook out of the way. It seems decent. Okay. Seems like the best we can get away with under the circumstances. Expecting to see takes. Oh, and then they have their knight guarding that square, but if they take that, then we have an exceptionally strong attack. So takes, if takes. Okay. Oh, they take that way first. Hmm. Oh, I didn't foresee this. Taking with their knight first. I think maybe we have to take this rook first. Yeah. Unfortunate. Yep. Takes with check, and then I think that's probably the end of the game because they're up so much material at this point. And I don't see another way that we can press this attack. Takes. We get 2 pieces for 1, or we trade off these pieces. Maybe we just activate our king. We push like F4 and then start pushing our king up the board. Yeah, I think that's gonna have to be the move. Still, they cannot castle, which I think is to our advantage. They're gonna try to get their knight into the mix. We'll go ahead and get our king moving up the board. They have a nice, let's see. I am not interested. Oh, we're gonna lose this pawn if we make this trade. So I think we can let our opponent make this trade. Takes, and then we have a nice advanced pawn. In the meantime, I will push F5, threatening the defender of this knight. I'll have to be very wary of knight forks. Takes, and then I guess takes. That looks decent. They castle. All right. Well done. We'll take this pawn. Takes with check. We move. Oh, if we move here, that runs into a fork. That looks gross. I think down to E1 is probably the move here. They push, we can push. And really just hoping for a promotion here. All right. This is forkable, but neither of their knights can get to the square that forks it. We'll have to be careful, maybe push our king up like this. Yeah, they're targeting that fork. So let's get our king and a rook onto opposite colored squares so they cannot be forked by the knights. And maybe work our way up. King and the rook on same color squares, but 1 square apart diagonally cannot be forked. So I mean, that's the biggest danger here, really. Sort of this position is kind of nice. We don't have to worry about them doing anything. Okay, so they push so that we can't push our pawn any further. Let's get our king into the game. I mean, I think that's gonna be our most active piece. We've got to take care to protect it. Maybe up here. Or king up into the center of the board. Threaten their knight. They can they hit us with check? No, okay. So we can't move up anymore. All these squares are covered by their pieces. I guess we could push over here. We can't safely push here. They move. Oh, they take. Okay, cool. I'm not interested in trading rooks at this juncture. Although I think maybe we have to. No, let's hold on to it. They have rook over here, check, which looks bad, and then we'll have to be careful not to put our king in front of our rook. It's not possible right now, fortunately. Oh, hits us with the fork. Well, we can fork 2 of their pieces. Nope, this rook is guarded. I think best we can hope for now is a draw. Due to stalemate. All right, we'll just sort of push our pieces up the board. Not a lot of room to maneuver. Yeah, not a lot of room for narration here, I don't think. So anywhere we can go, if they promote to a queen, they'll be hitting like all of these squares. And then we won't quite have stalemate. Let's see. Okay, so it'll be like blocked. Yeah, I think so. Just closer to their pieces, paradoxically, I think will make it easier to stalemate, or more difficult to checkmate us accurately. I think promoting is good here because we can move to f2, and then they can sort of like ladder checkmate us down the board. I think, yeah, like this. Knight comes out of the way. Check, let's move to the center of the board. And a wonderful ladder checkmate. Well done. All right. I think I'm going to skip the review on this one. This is my 3rd game. Well, actually, I do want to see what the blunder was. Just real quick. I'll switch to the analysis board. Oh, pretty much immediately. Big advantage for black. What did I mess up? Queen takes was a mistake. F4 was much stronger. E6 was much stronger. E6. Oh, this is for black. C takes D4. Okay, so C takes D4 is... Oh, wait. Hold on. C3 is the next move. I see. Okay. Well, good to know for next time. Fun to play against another caro-kann player. Yeah, and then we dropped that knight pretty early on. Had some strong, I thought, attacking ideas, but our opponent very deftly parried them. I just want to see if the engine thinks that we could have gotten away with anything. It doesn't seem like it. Nope, 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 nope. Okay. Yeah, and our opponent promotes and concludes the game, no problem. All right. We call it here. Thanks for watching. Have a good one, y'all.